Hi, I'm Grace. This is Gracefully, and today I'm going to talk about every single book that I bought in 2021. Which, funnily enough, I bought 21 books in 2021. So the world is balanced, everything's a great place, and 2022 isn't going to be as horrifically horrifying as 2020 and 2021 is my hopes. But I bought books in 2021, so it couldn't have been that bad of a year. So my first category is books that remind me of Sally Rooney. Because I read Sally Rooney for the first time, adored Normal People. I read it 3 times in like 3 months. I literally 10 pages into Normal People, went online and bought Conversations with Friends, and I also bought Beautiful World Where Are You in the special yellow edition because it's literally gorgeous. I prefer this yellow one over the blue one. They're both basically about 4 friends who all have these quirks in their relationships with each other, and it's a commentary on basically normal life because it's about polyamory and cheating and whether good people are the only people who deserve to be in relationships and whether bad things make us bad people. I personally don't love these as much as Normal People, but again, that's totally up to personal perception, and it also isn't a book review. So yeah, I did buy these. I did buy these both, and I'm just happy to have them on my shelf. I think Sally Rooney is truly a revolutionary author, so I'm happy that I have these in my collection. Next is a book that I bought because it was described as the Australian Sally Rooney. And we love Australians, we love supporting them, and we also love Sally Rooney. So I bought Love and Virtue by Reid, which was recommended to me actually in one of my uni tutorials. And it has like not many Goodreads reviews, but it is essentially like a Sally Rooney book, but set in Sydney University, which is a university in Sydney. Who would have guessed? And it's about a sexual assault that happens in this university, and I think the repercussions of it. But yeah, so I'm actually really intrigued about this one. This was definitely one that I was like, I have to buy it and I have to read it. And I'm really, really excited to get to this one in 2022. And then I bought Yolk by Mary H.K. Choi, and this one is essentially a letdown for me. I personally wouldn't recommend reading it or buying it, but the cover is beautiful and stunning, which is kind of why I haven't got rid of it. If you were interested, it is about these 2 sisters. One has recently discovered that she's terminal cancer, and it's these estranged sisters essentially banding together and, you know, learning how to be sisters again and learning how to work together again. And it's just a really beautiful, or should be a very beautiful story about female friendship and sisterly friendship. It's just not, in my opinion. Oh, and then this next book is another like social commentary-ish book. That's The Idiot by Elif Batman. This one, I actually have no idea what it's about. I just got recommended it as like a coming of age and something that you should read, and it's basically been described as a modern classic. There's a lot of beautiful, beautiful lines in it that is kind of what reeled me into it. But yeah, I bought this one in Melbourne actually when I went to Melbourne. So it actually has some really good memories also tied into it, which I love, owning books that make me think of happy memories. And then another book I got, but I've lent it to a friend, is Boy Parts, and I can't think of the author name to save my life right now. It is essentially a what the fuck, oh my god book, and I think everyone should read this book. It's essentially about this woman who takes explicit photos of men, and it's a commentary on feminism and art and the balance between male and female power in these spaces, and it's just phenomenal, and it's gonna fuck you up. It's gonna blow your mind. I buddy read this with Kirsty, and literally the voice memos that we were sending each other were just like, what is happening? Why? What is going on? As a reaction to this book, when I was in Melbourne, I saw this book on a shelf. It's like described as the fable of female fate and male privilege and a story of unfathomable attractions. It reminds us of art seduction and elemental power to both save and destroy. So this reminded me of Boy Parts, and I was like, I really want to read another book like Boy Parts. It also has a really like wanky cover. Like, this is the book that I would carry around if I was trying to look like I wanted to prove that I was better than everyone. Speaking about books where people think they're better than everyone, The Secret History by Donna Tartt. It is deceivably short. It looks like it's like 300 pages. And it's not. It's like 600, so I'm kind of daunted by it. All I know about this book is that it is about shit people, just generally not very nice people, and there's a murder mystery, and they're all trying to solve it, or at least, you know, absolve their names maybe? I don't know. I'm really just making up this plot on the spot, and I shouldn't because this is an actual book. I know it's dark academia, which has its own issues. I know it's known for queer baiting. I found that one out later, so I am interested. about that one. The next section is my little classics, because I bought 2 classics for my degree, and then my friends were like, Grace likes classics, yeah. The 2 books that I bought for my degree were Frankenstein and War of the Worlds, and these are both to do with my science fiction course. So Frankenstein is Frankenstein. It's about a man who creates life, debates God and whether man should create life. And War of the Worlds is about when aliens come and invade the Earth. They're both pretty good. I like them both. I think they were very influential in creating like modern science fiction, and I acknowledge them for that. And considering that I studied them, I don't think I can be totally impartial on the reading experience as an individual book, because I literally read it alongside like deconstructing it, so I understand the societal implications. So now I'm like, oh, they're great because they helped us, rather than they're great because it's written well, you know what I mean? And then my friend was so lovely and got me these 2 fucking stunning books. These books are stunning. Can you not tell me that this is beautiful? Is it not? Is it not beautiful? It's the complete works of the complete tales of H.P. Lovecraft, and it's freaking beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. And I don't know when I'm going to read these. And I know I should read more short stories for my degree, so I need to. But this book is beautiful. It makes me so happy. And the other book that he bought me was 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, another like stunning edition of this book. And this one is by Jules Verne. It is a classic. I don't really know what it's about. I know that people travel 20,000 leagues like across the sea, and they discover things, ? I know there's a Captain Nemo in it because I love the movie Finding Nemo and the name is just memorable. But that's all, and it's one of my friends' like favourite classics to my knowledge, so I really should get into it, but I don't really know what it's about. But maybe I need to read more classics, so maybe I'll pick this one up this year. The next section is my biggest section, which is the fantasy section, because I like fantasy books. I bought 2 Brandon Sanderson books this year. I bought the first book in the Mistborn trilogy, The Final Empire, which is essentially like a magic... Oh yeah, there's a magic in here which people can ingest metals, and it's like a superpower. That's all I know about the magic system of this book. And then I also bought the Many Lives of Stephen Leeds, which I'm a bit cautious about because it's about a schizophrenic and this makes him have powers. I'm really worried about the mental health representation in this. And I also got this out of one of those like free exchange, put a book in, grab a book, free libraries. So I didn't pay for it and I felt fine grabbing it off the shelf. Next I got this book, which I think was my favourite book in 2021. And I'm so excited for the next book in the series to come out. This book is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. It is the 4th book in the ACOTAR series, and the representation of mental health in this book, and the representation of female friendships, and the representation of like supportive male characters is just phenomenal. It deserves to be up in the Book Hall of Fame, and I adore it so much, and I just want it to be in my life forever, and I definitely am going to give this one a reread before I read the 5th book when it comes out. Next book I bought, or my wonderful boyfriend bought me, because get yourself a boy that buys you books, is Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. This is the 2nd book in the Last Hours series and like the gajillionth book in the Shadowhunter Chronicles. I haven't read the 1st book. I haven't read Chain of Gold, but I am going to read it. I will read it because these books, I just need to be depressed to read these books because I just want to like, this world is like so safe and cuddly to me. So it's such a comfort read. So I need a moment where I'm like, I need comfort, which will probably come halfway through university when I'm having a life crisis again about like all my assessments that I've got to. So yeah, this will definitely be read, and I love it. And it's about Will Herondale and his family, and Will Herondale is like my #1 book crush. If I had to pull a man out of a book and say, I'm going to date you, it would be Will Herondale. The next book I got out of the free library, again, is Night Circus by Erin Morganstern, which I haven't read yet, which people are shocked by because I freaking adore Maggie Stiefvater, and people have said that she is very similar to Erin Morganstern. All I know about is this is about a circus that arrives in the morning, disappears the next day, and then there's these 2 characters and they're like fighting it out to become like the top magician. And there's also a love story, and one of them has to die. which sounds like classic YA, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it, and apparently the writing is phenomenal. And I've been great at these segues this video, talking about phenomenal writing. I got 2 Maggie Stiefvater books this year. The new release Maggie Stiefvater book, Mr. Impossible. This is the sequel to Call Down the Hawk, which follows Ronan and his brothers, and essentially what happens to him after the events of the Raven Boys. I can't really give much detail because it is like the 2nd book in a series, technically the 5th, but read the Raven Boys. Like, just read it. That's all I have, the advice I have to give you about this book. And then the Scorpio Races, which is the special edition, our crate edition. It's signed. It has like a beautiful like under the jacket art. I'm so happy I bought this, honestly, and I got a video when I unboxed this, and like the energy that I have in that video is unparalleled. Next is Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari. And this is, I read Humans this year, which is a parody of this book, and I freaking adored that. And this is like, essentially, it says it on the cover, it's a brief history of mankind, humankind. That's it all. And it seems to like be a lot of essays on climate change and human nature and all that sort of stuff. So I'm really intrigued to read this one, and I do really want to read more nonfiction this year. That's one of my New Year's resolutions, actually, to, you know, grow that brain, make that big brain happen. And the last book that I bought in 2021 in preparation for 2022 and kind of aligning with my goals was Cognitive Behavioural Therapy Made Simple, 10 Strategies for Managing Anxiety, Depression, Anger, Panic and Worry by Steph J. Gillihan, who has got that PhD, so Dr. Gillihan, I presume. And this is just essentially a workbook for CBT, and if I haven't said, I've got panic disorder. And it really was taking a hit during COVID, so I thought, hey, in 2022, I really want to take responsibility for my mental health. And this book was one of those things that I really wanted to get because I want to educate myself a lot more on the techniques that I can personally use to myself. And I think this was a really good investment for my own mental health. And I will let you guys know how this book goes because I'm really, really excited to get a lot better than I have been, which I already have been. I've really been working on myself. And it is Feb, and I feel a lot better than I have for the last few years. So, yay! And then I also got this book. This book, it's a bit oddly sized, but it's given me a lot of cuddles. It also talks sometimes, and she also doesn't want to be here. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Please comment below which one of these books you have read, which one of these books like you're like, oh, I hate that book, I love that book, you know. Anyway, yeah, have a lovely day, keep reading or don't, your choice, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.